Good morning, everybody. I think the presentation made by Shema Sayag and Thomas was a very good introduction to my session. We have not pre-coordinated that, but this is the facts. My name is Reuven Elmalem. I'm based in Paris. We have in ZTE R&D Institute that covers value-added services. IPTV OTT is a part of that. We are dealing with smart home, machine-to-machine, cloud computing, and IMS, intelligent network. Today, I will try to start with actually five topics. Well, actually, the fact that emerging technology, we just been actually involved in some of the aspect calling OTT multicast, cloud computing, multi-country wholesale environment. We try actually to illustrate in these coming slides a little bit further how does it work. Initially, just to, for those that are not familiar with ZTE, it's a company that was founded 30 years ago in Shenzhen, China. It's a company that traded in Shenzhen and Hong Kong stock exchanges. Actually, we provide a full range of products to telcos, ISPs for wireline and wireless, generating more than 12 billion a year. And in the IPTV area, we started to develop an end-to-end solution since 2004. Now let's look a little bit about the telco behavior. Telcos first need to defend their territories. They are committed to some areas. In some cases, they are expanding their territories by acquisition, like Thomas mentioned, the case of Deutsche Telecom. And this effort requires a complete review of strategy, case by case. So they, in some cases, are finding some ways to collaborate efficiently with emerging OTT vendors or OTT service providers as an entry point to a country, because the investment, as we heard before, are quite significant. In some cases, the branding of the telco make much more easier to an OTT service provider to be presented to the residential market. Telcos use very decent assets and capabilities they have captured or developed over the different years with a range of engineering services serving millions of users. And they know how to manage integration, customer data, and logistics. Very important for delivery and expansion of entertainment services. Their applied strategies includes advanced connectivity service, not only the internet, not only the connectivity with new area, new device, but an integration and a new way to engage the user experience, generating new RPU. They know how to manage data analytics, and they do that over years, over wireless network. The way to implement these data analytics over the OTT and the video is not so different. And they develop and must develop, actually, continuously valued services and application, something like we can call the Internet of Things. Most of the telcos that started with IPTV and actually faced competition from OTT players understood that the bundle that need to present to the end user must include much more than just video catalog. And therefore, they are coming to a vendor like ZTE that would like to emphasize the importance of the smart home and the capability to create the stickiness between the telco and the end user using much more added valued service behind the video. So the battleground that we have seen over the past years, of course, most of you know that Netflix is going to be present in about 200 regions in the world. And it is a fact. The Netflix application is becoming a very popular, even in France, where the application is a part of the set-top box of the telcos. And doing this kind of collaboration allows the telcos take benefits from a previous innovation, more rapidly occur in the OTT area. Until now, they were not, the telco were not able to take benefits from the explosion of e-commerce, advertising, digital media that goes very fast. All the models are changing. And instead of that, the value that has been largely captured by digital newcomers went to the Skype, Google, Facebook, and the others. So the question we can ask ourselves, can operators turn this situation around? Give it a fight to OTT players, a freemium offering, or actually creating some sort of partnership? So more and more network infrastructure, CapEx, is needed to overcome the huge amount of traffic. And therefore, I will talk later on about new technologies that are allowing the telcos to minimize the bandwidth between the core network and the access. As an illustration of the importance of the personalized experience using subscription VOD, we've been here in TV Connect in London since several years. SVOD was not so popular maybe 3-4 years ago. Now it's become a must. And we see the fact that already this year we are talking about 100 million OTT subscribers, SVOD. Think about it, because it took for IPTV something like 10 years to achieve this 100 million threshold. In OTT, it took something like 1 or 2 years. Now, we see the cake split between the different regions. Of course, each region, and the question that was asked by one of the person here, is about the penetration of the cloud and the importance to distinguish between the region. Of course, I agree with Shema Sayag. It depends on the voluntary of Tier 1 operators to accommodate such traffic in one way or the other. We know about the difficulties in America between the Netflix and the different service telcos. Now becoming more and more stable, we can see that still US will represent 60% of the total SVOD OTT traffic and revenue, Europe 20%, Latin America 10% almost, and the rest will be in Asia. So what are the strategic direction adopted by the telcos? First, they need to protect the core business. What is the core business of a telco? Connectivity, broadband. They must allow themselves to be present in the lowest price everywhere, with the emphasis of quality of service, of course, to distinguish themselves comparing to the pure of best effort. Then they need to enable as soon as possible, new businesses. The question is whether this new business will come with an outsourcing activity to one of the vendors that can build a cloud for them, or to build it in-house, like in the case that Thomas mentioned in Romania. The recent years shows that due to the pressure the telcos face in terms of economic, they didn't had enough long-term view, or they were not enough patient to build a foundation for the long term. We see a lot of fragmented market, like Thomas mentioned, with different vendors, different decisions that were taken quickly without actually, in the past, a long view. This actually going to change more and more. Telcos excel at providing ubiquitous connectivity, next-generation network. They must leverage on their ability to qualify the different tiered quality of service levels. They know how to manage traffic. They know how to build a full IMS control layer in the wireless. That would be very useful to create this bundled service between the wireless and the wireline. And they know how to create bundles from other type of vertical solution like voice. Some of the carriers with whom we are working are presenting on the TV ability to have a click-to-call from the TV or receive information for incoming calls, and try to use the user TV as a front end to communicate with others, including a video call session between different users under the same network. They know how to do intelligent infrastructure and build open interface due to the telco involvement in different standards like 3GPP, T-SPAN, Ti-SPAN, ETSI, etc. Unlike actually the web-based company, they are a little bit more heavily involved in these kind of standards. And the common platform that more and more vendors are offering them facilitate the consolidation of billing and CRM, and the way for them to collect the demographic data and user behavior become much more easier than before. So this was the introduction. I will try now to talk about some emerging technologies that impact actually the TCO studies by telcos before they launch new service. For those that are a little bit less familiar with the terms multicast, unicast, I just created some quick scheme. We can see that in fact, if we are actually talking about popular channels, of course, the best way to do that is a broadcast. Less popular will be multicast, and the more rare channels need to be on the unicast. What is the problem that we faced over the last couple of years? In OTT, all channels, with whatever popularity is, were broadcast or were delivered under the unicast. So when operators have had already an infrastructure delivering data, internet, and then maybe IPTV with multicast, when they created an overlay network delivering with a technologies like HTTP, HLS, the problem was the same. More and more popularity, more and more success for some content, more and more investment in the network. So what we have had to do as a vendor for this type of technology is to think about some mechanism that can be implemented somehow along the network, and especially on the terminal side, and basically allowing part of the traffic on ITT to be delivered using multicast. A special client sitting on a special software client sitting on the terminal is able to convert multicast to unicast and then provide the distribution to the device. Another part that, or a way to invest less when we go to a multi-country distribution is to centralize, like I think was introduced by Thomas just before. A multi-country centralized platform allows the operator to cover off-net traffic, meaning those terminals that are connected beyond the managed territory or network, with, of course, some special arrangement with the content provider, because when the content provider provides legal rights to the telco, it's a specific region, and it's not covering all regions. So a special arrangement needs to be done, but the geographic clock mechanism in the centralized platform allows the telco to inhibit from customers to use it improperly. The trends that we see in the market over the last few years is to build not only a solution based on in-house installation of equipment in data center, but also to take under our responsibility, ZTE, the hosted managed software as service responsibility, and to align all the different components as a unified lifecycle solution management, covering, as you can see, different type of deliveries, IPTV hybrid, mobile TV, hospitality solution, some cases where we see advertisement wholesale, video monitoring, and video monitoring for the business-to-business consumers, and also the retail. As a third mechanism we can find in the emerging technologies is the way that operators use these technologies to manage multi-tenant, and not only to allow a different video service provider, as you can see in the slide, what we call the VSP1, VSP2, so not only to create a multi-tenant wholesale platform with the ability for each service provider, a third-party service provider, to use their platform in a segmented way. They are more and more busy on cloud computing technology that are allowing them to split the content delivery network and to create almost a VPN, what we saw in the IP, a special separation of CDN for each service provider. This is very important because when you have in a specific country a manager from telco that wants to collaborate with OTT service provider, the service provider wants each of them, and they come with a specific content, would like to have a special tiered quality of service mechanism. And what we do, we provide this kind of separation of database, of the barrier network, and the streaming servers in a way that each of these service provider can get SLA with KPIs pre-agreed. This creates a wonderful environment for the telco that wants to invest in cloud computing, not only for its proper needs, but also to open these clouds to others, as they know that the infrastructure amortization takes time, and they prefer not to be dependent only on the ARPU coming from their residential customers. Some of you are a little bit maybe confused about the terminology or the benefits of IPTV and OTT. I would just try to summarize that IPTV was founded from the innovation of multicast in 2004. I think it was in the other information system even discussed in 1994. But we started to see implementation of routers, of support for multicast from this point of view almost 10 years ago. The idea was to close the system and to manage the service in a walled garden environment, as the technology of the streaming and the network was not so mature, and we managed to allocate a lot of bandwidth, extra bandwidth, to guarantee the quality. Comparing to those streams came from the cable and satellite, IPTV service providers suffer a lot in the area of between 2004 to 2007 from macro block, jitters, set-top box rebooting, and things became more and more stable from 2009. The problem with IPTV is a little bit the personalization, because the idea was to deliver the same content to the main room, and this is what actually the people like Netflix have understood. There is an opportunity due to the computing power of different new device to personalize the content and the experience to each member in the family. This is what actually you see on the next part of the slide. And this is what's happened today. We cannot see a family sitting all together seeing the same, although one of the only thing that gather the family is some football games or any live sport events. But most of the time, we are doing a lot of other things than actually communicating with social network during the experience of watching a series or things like that. So this is a way to engage more advertisement, personalized advertisement for each member of the family. It's an opportunity for all of the industry. Another quick slide, technical slide. I'm sorry about those too many information, but the idea is basically to have a way to deliver OTT with fast challenge edge, which was also a problem in the couple of years, where we saw a lot of buffering delay of 6 or 10 seconds. With new technologies that we are deploying, we can reduce this delay by factor 3. And this makes much more sense for the content providers. They are okay to deliver their premium content with this kind of performance. I will try to also give you an example of a smart home environment, and this is actually the new cash machine of the operator. Those telcos that are facing OTT competition must leverage from other source of revenue. Some of them try to develop new application on the IPTV. Problem is nobody is ready to pay for this. If, for instance, you have a click-to-call or caller ID functionality that is added into that IPTV experience, the end user understands it's nice to have. It creates some sickness. He can think twice before he cancels the subscription, but he cannot allow himself to pay €5 or more than that just because he can see the caller ID on the TV. However, when operators need to increase the turnover from their retail business, they are actually coming to ZTE and other vendors where we are able to unify the different devices that we can call the machine-to-machine. And this creates a momentum where the customer that initially just decided to buy data, and then after that decide to buy some TV packages, now he decides to buy complete security, remote security control. He can see a multimedia communication device with IP phone, video phone. He can get also a centralized gateway at home that communicates with different proprietary protocol and other standard protocols. And the best thing to do for the operator is to harmonize the management of this different type of activities. And this is actually what we develop, as you can see on the back-end side, a special way to manage the e-health, surveillance, home portal. People are actually accessing remotely to some of the portals to receive online information about the situation of their different equipment at home. And to accelerate even faster the return on investment for the operator, they are not just satisfied to deliver it as a business to consumer. They create new contract with private medical e-health organization, with insurance companies, and those companies that are known with their brand to the end user as vertically responsible for insurance, security, water, whatever, and the devices that are actually promoted to the home are actually arriving from two directions. First is the telco, and the second is the partner of the telco. Both of them have a referral agreements of commission, and the idea is to penetrate with this kind of technology as fast as possible to maximum households. The cloud is a complicated environment for many operators. Some prerequisites need to be guaranteed. First of all, to fully assess the platform delivery models and the device that you need to support. It's the first thing to do. Secondly is to embrace the cloud to manage complex security and DRM scheme. Third is to choose your multi-screen application partner wisely. Always make your first goal a quality user experience, because at the end, this is what counts. The end user doesn't care if the content of the service comes from a proprietary platform 30 kilometers from his house or from a cloud located on the other part of the world. And then to guarantee a very low TCO from day one. For those that are, again, a little bit less familiar with the power of the cloud, I created this animation which represent, you see, in one axis, the infrastructure cost over the time. Based on some prediction about the demand, usually the buyer in the telco side actually understand that over time you need to extend the capacity of the network, capacity of the hardware in this way. But the actual demand is not really aligned with the prediction. And this is when the problem arrives. And this can be a matter of decision regarding the routing in the network, regarding the streaming servers, whatever hardware is deployed in the network. And when we see this gap, we see a huge amount of wasted money in some parts of the time. Another part of the time, we see some calls that come from the management saying that we forgot something. So what the cloud actually allows us to do is to follow up the demand dynamically. And this is a factor that needs to be common for the entire ecosystem of OTT, from the head-end part to almost to the access of the device. Some of even the function of set-top box are now played on the cloud side. There are some amazing startups in the world that are able to use the cloud to deliver new services to legacy boxes, cable, etc. And this is a wonderful thing for the industry. I will just finish by this slide. It's a way that maybe you can retain the message. On one hand, you have the decision from some telcos to develop a revenue share with the vendors, with the OTT player, and some advertisement companies. In the center of the slide, you can see the telco operator managed cloud, usually built by ZTE with the end-to-end solution, with all these advantages that you can see in the core. The ARPU that is generated by the end user is split in one way to reimburse the monthly fees that are relevant to software as service, and a part of the revenue actually are shared between the telcos and the content provider. In the middle, we can see the powerful cloud-based content management system that we are deploying systematically when it comes to hosted manage. So what are the next action plan for operators? First is to choose the appropriate strategy given your specific current and future capabilities and your mix of product and service and market you are serving. Telcos as a cloud user or telcos as a cloud provider. For each alternative, some benefits are associated. And lastly, we have the statement saying that we are actually completely clear about how exactly you are able to monetize and to do it in a way that each particular service that you're introducing, whether if it's in the cloud, of your own on other clouds, is profitable. There was a sentence from Alan Kay saying the best way to predict the future is to invent it. And this is actually what we see. That we see that the telcos that were actually in the situation they're waiting for standards coming from different bodies, now they are more and more proactive due to the competition raised by OTT provider, and they think about more and more proactive innovation action. We are here from ZTE to help them to optimize their network. Thank you.